looks like the stream is live, so... Hello, and welcome to the mid-season review for REL 9B and 9C in REBBL Season 8. I think that about caught it all up. Maybe not a lot of enthusiasm. Anyway, I'm Chaos Blue.
And I'm SP Dwiggy.
And Gengar is not here because I can't even blame him. It is all of our faults because we all screwed up the scheduling. Frankly, it's a miracle that there's two of us here.
Up until about 5 minutes ago, I thought I was missing this. So, here's that.
You thought it was later. Gengar also thought it was even later than you thought it was. And I knew it would be at this time, but I thought that Gengar would be available and that you wouldn't be. It was something. Anyway, this is the mid-season recap. So what that means is we're going to do the regular recap, but we're going to look at all of the teams, at least a little bit, and we're going to make playoff predictions, path to playoff style, which is in the stream title. So, you probably figured that out. This is going to be a little bit longer than normal, so let's get right to it. Looks like in REL 9B, in Week 8, the only two games that haven't been played are the admin games, so we can look at all of these. Bounce Castle Enthusiast and Elements of Style get their admin wins, those sweet, sweet admin wins. So the first game is the Rotterhood versus the Werewolf on Wall Street, which was a win for the Werewolves, 2-0.
It's nice. They got a lot more. They got a few more blocks in, but as Gengar pointed out to me last week, that means Frenzy probably did some stuff. Got 5 injuries though to the others 3, so 2 more injuries is definitely going to help you win when you get that numbers advantage, especially as a Necromantic team.
Inflicted a kill as well. I'm not sure on what. Probably a Rotter, really.
Yeah, they tend to die pretty fast.
But this is, I think, going to be really important for when we get to the playoff talk. Because had the Rotterhood won this game, they would have been in a extremely competitive position for that playoff spot. But they're starting to lag behind first place with this loss. On the other hand, the win is absolutely what Unseen Walker needed to stay in contention for playoffs. So hopefully they can keep it up. But, I'll maintain that sentiment. Okay, let's move on. Second game, the Rattata Tacklers versus the Hausdorff's Homewreckers, which the Castors win 2-1.
It's a huge ask, 300 TV down with fairly new Skaven against Chaos Dwarves, especially with all that tackle and block. Lost a Blitzer.
Expulsions. Oh, it was a Blitzer that died? Wow.
Blitzer died.
Yeah, that hurts.
Yeah. Luckily it was a level 1 Blitzer, so could easily be replaced. And his other Blitzer leveled, so hopefully he got something good.
Gotta get that claw. Get it early. Get it fast.
Yep.
Okay. And, also an important win for the Hausdorffs. On that playoff track.
Yep, keeps them at 16 points right now, according to League Manager anyway.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to be talking about this team in particular a little bit for the playoff race, but that's not until later. Next up is Rage Dwarf versus Click Click Splat, which was won by the Dwarfs 2-1. Again.
This team just seems to be rolling through people like a death roller, which they bought for this game.
Which is presumably where the expulsion came from as well. No deaths. I don't think any serious injuries.
Just MNG on the rookie skink, so nothing.
Yeah, that's
nothing
not that
huge.
serious. Good block count. I mean, yeah, like this is dwarves out bashing lizards. That always feels nice.
Yeah.
uh, of course, rage dwarfs are also undefeated. I think they're the only undefeated team still in the league. So
That is incorrect.
oh
Or in the division, yes, but not the league.
oh, I said league. Yeah, no, I meant the division. I'm pretty sure they're not the only undefeated team in the league.
Yeah.
Uh, Although, we're getting to the point where there's not that many of them. But still, there's definitely more than one.
That's true. We might see another one later this episode.
Maybe. Maybe. So, next up, the Pananimals versus Yeti to Conquer. And unsurprisingly, Iron Master takes the 2-1 win over the Dark Elves.
That's a lot of casualties for Dark Elves to have to deal with.
Yeah, that's a little rough, especially if some of those came in early.
Yeah, and then most of them are positionals, both witches and 2 blitzers. And then one was a niggle on alignment, but nobody cares about alignment anyway. So
actually, I think you can sort of tell. You can tell that the blocks did happen early because the Norse have very few blocks, and like Norse are usually happy to not go overboard on blocking. Like if given the opportunity, they don't need to get in every single block. And then they're fine with that because it means there's less chance for their AV7 to break. But still, to get this little, that strongly suggests... Yeah, I was just confirmed by Big Chuck. It was all early. 4 removals by turn 4 is what he said. So there you go. Early removals make for easily won games. Unless you're me. Last of all, we have the Gad's Gobstoppers versus Frosting and Filling, which is a 1-1 draw.
Which is great for the goblins and the Gad's Gobstoppers. Ravenpoe still Ravenpoeing.
Yeah, for a stunty team, a draw is nearly as good as a win.
Pretty much.
Let's see.
Only 1 death, and it was the Looney, but it was a rookie Looney, and we all know goblins are cheap. So, probably going to get another one of those right away.
Yeah, if it didn't have a double, you don't care if it died.
Yeah, well, it had 0 SPP, so you definitely didn't care.
That is true for all goblins, except for the Fanatic. Maybe the Pogoer. I mean, you might care a little bit if the Pogoer dies, if only because it's more expensive to replace. But I don't think Ravenpoe even has a Pogoer, so there you go. You don't take it because it's expendable, okay? I mean, generally though, it is everything on the Goblin team is expendable, and it's too expensive for to be conveniently expendable.
Yeah.
Yeah, though. This game had a good block count and a lot of KOs, and some injuries as well. Norse got more, but not like a extreme amount more.
It always surprises me when goblins are pretty much even on the armor breaks, but you kind of expect that with AB7 on both sides.
Well, of course, goblins have more than AV7. They also have stunty.
That's true.
Which I suppose does not actually make it the armor break any more likely. It just makes the subsequent damage worse. It hurts you after your armor has been broken. Okay, so those were the games from last week. Let's start looking at teams. First one on the list for me is the Rotterhood. So, this team looks more developed since last I saw it.
1 second to pull them up. I don't remember the last time I saw them, but it's definitely not looking bad for first season Nurgle.
Mm-hmm.
Block on 2 of your Nurgle warriors, Mighty Blow on 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
The Agi 4 Pestigore, that's really nice.
Yep.
Unfortunately, the Rotters are falling apart, but
The Riders don't matter.
yes.
Sure, it would be nice to have one with Dirty Player, but it is like so not important.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm surprised he has all 4 Pestigores already, but it is 8 games in. So they have. That's right. This is a Greenhorn division.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Or yeah, it is a Greenhorn division. I do think it makes his team a little bloatier than it could be, but I mean, obviously, it's been working out for him overall.
Yeah.
The only thing on here that I'd like to see is I think this team could really use a little bit of guard. Like, I can definitely understand, considering how it's been performing, I can believe it that it would get development like this, and I can also believe with development like this that it would help it perform well. Sort of a good feedback loop there. But I can also think it's probably going to struggle against other bashy teams at this stage, in part because it doesn't have any guard. Like, it doesn't have tools to deal with a bash team. It just needs to get good bashing in early, otherwise it's gonna lose in a bash war, probably.
Yeah, not right yet, but I mean, there's not a whole lot of hyper bash in this division, so he can kind of get away with it a little bit. But if he does make playoffs, I think he would definitely struggle against some of the top tier teams.
Yeah. Having said that, though, here I don't have the team list for every team that are playing, but I have the one, like I have written down the teams, that the top of the leaderboard are playing against for the remaining 5 weeks. And Rotterboard are in second place currently, so I have them. Let me go over who they are in order. Next week, they have Yeti to Conquer, which I think is probably the strongest team in the division. If Ironmaster had joined 2 weeks earlier, I think he would be in first place.
Yeah.
Or at least second place. You have to account for anyway. Anyway, if he had not started with as large a number of wins, I think he would have been a very strong playoff contender. After that, he has the Reddit Tacklers, the Elements of Style, Click Click Splat, and then he finishes off with a bye week.
So it's already one win there, just for the bye. I
think he's also going to probably do well against the Reddit Tacklers.
Yeah.
Just
because they're a new team. Yeah.
So the way I look at it is, he's going to have a really hard time against Yeti to Conquer, then probably a relative recovery game after that. Then he has 2 games that could go either way, and then a bye week, which actually puts him in like a really good position, actually. But he is also in a position where he needs the first place team to fail.
Yeah. So that's 5 points is a lot to come back from, but it's not it's not doable.
Actually, it is less than 5 points. We're gonna get to that when we get to Rage Dwarf.
All right.
But yeah. Still, all that said, I think this is a really good-looking team. In a different division, it definitely has potential to be on top. It's just like, honestly, this is a really screwy division because of the way that the bye weeks sort of played out.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate, but...
Oh, hey, and you know what? I just noticed. One of the Rotters is a dwarf. Agi 2! Well, you know what?
You got one.
Okay. Any final thoughts? I might have already asked that.
I guess my final thought is I didn't know that undead dwarves became more agile than than regular dwarves.
Clearly they don't, because this one is still Agi 2.
All right.
Okay
So I
then.
guess we can go to the next one.
Yep, the next one is Yeti to Conquer, which I just mentioned. Yeti to Conquer, just FYI, is like, well, it shows 300 on the record, but they inherited like a lot of losses because of when they came in.
Yeah, I
They're
think it was 5 losses.
they are probably not in playoff contention for the simple fact that the first place team would have to absolutely tank for it to happen.
Not only that, as other teams would have to tank too, and I don't
Exactly.
know if that many can do it.
Exactly. Which is a shame, sort of, because I think this team would if this team had started on a completely even footing with the other ones, I think it probably would definitely be in the top 3 teams. It still might be in the top 3 teams. I just don't think it'll be in first. It's a really good team, and Ironmaster's a really good coach who just plays really stupid teams sometimes, but this is not one of them.
Yeah. He's going by the books Norse with this one.
He has a block. He has a block Yeti. Both of his ulfs have block, and one of them is guard. He has a palm jump up tackle berserker. He has a blodge runner who does have a niggle.
Yeah. The one thing is, I'm confused. He only has one berserker, but I mean, if he's getting by with it, that's great. But I don't know if he had one before.
I do recall that one died at some point. I think I remember that happening, but he certainly didn't replace it. Excuse me, and he had the opportunity to do so. He also has pro on a lineman, which I'm not really sure what's going on there. This is weird.
He's trying to remake 300 with Fargal the Void, I think.
Ironmaster, stop being Ironmaster and pick sane skills.
Well, you know Shadowing's next, and then Frenzy, but he's waiting for the double 6s for the strength up to so they can be 301.
You know, the thing is, you're probably right. Like, I can't even say that this stuff usually works out for Ironmaster 2 until he overcommits on it. So, I probably shouldn't even be criticizing it. But yeah, this is a really strong team. I think it's going to go way up in divisions next season, and I think had it started from game 1, it probably would have been in playoff contention. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh no, go ahead.
I agree. No, this is pretty much you said what I wanted to say. I agree.
Okay then. Moving on, we have the elements of style. Enter team motto. You still haven't entered the motto mistake? Come on! Okay, so this team has a... Okay, it's just a miss next game.
Yeah. But he does have a niggle on the other one.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
I'm actually surprised he has a lineman alive. The last time I saw this team, I think it only had 6 players.
Well, you know, he needed someone to kick the ball.
And it looks like he's got a brand new thrower as well. Which I don't know if he started with one, but I'm a fan of the thrower on the Wood Elf team. You got all those catchers. You need somebody to throw it to them.
Wood Elves are, I think, a throwing team, so they really should have a... So I think the thrower is worthwhile. Plus, you know, it's cheap leader access, which admittedly the Wood Elves don't really need. Like,
yeah, they start with a lot of their key rerolls, like skills.
If you compare a thrower with leader and one less team reroll to just having a line elf, you're only actually saving like 10k. It's almost nothing. But I think you do also get the pass as part of the bargain, and you can take other passing skills like, I don't know, accurate or something. That's a passing skill, right?
Yeah, you would go probably accurate, and then if you get double strong arm, then it starts getting ridiculous because you can start rolling long bombs on, a 3+.
Mm-hmm.
If you get an Agi up, then it's a 2+ and it's nasty.
Mm-hmm.
And just the fact that Wood Elves in general, you got the 2 War Dancers that start with Blodge and your catchers that start with Dodge and Catch. You get a lot of your the rerolls that you desperately need in your skills, so you can save and only go with the 2 rerolls. And he's pretty safe with it.
Mistay does also have a 1 push 1 turner. It's not quite a natural 1 turner, but it only requires a single push to do it.
Or a quick snap.
Or a quick snap, yeah. I can definitely see how this team has done well. And I think, who is it lost to? It only has 2 losses.
They lost to... let's see. They lost to Yeti to Conquer, so they lost to Iron Master.
Okay.
And they also lost to Hausdorff's Homewreckers.
So basically 2 games where they just got completely outbashed. Yeah, I'd believe that. That's probably why Iron Master even has the double tackle lineman, actually, for killing elves. I would believe it. Okay, and just to go over the Element of Styles games, because, I have them written down, so I may as well. They actually had a bye week this week, which we already talked about. Then they're playing against Click Click Splat. Then they have another bye week. Then it's the Rotterhood, Bounce Castle Enthusiast, and Rage Dwarfs. And they have... So, they do have a bye week coming up, which I think any team in the top 5 who has bye weeks are in better positions. Wait, sorry?
Sorry, kind of went a little robot on me there.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I think any team that has bye weeks in the final 5 weeks is in a good position, or at least a better position because of that bye week. But having said that, the Elements of Style have at least 2 games coming up against teams that they will probably struggle against, considering their play history. The Rotterhood and the Rage Dwarfs.
Yeah, they haven't been doing well against the Big Bash teams yet.
So, this team is just, really good, though. But I can definitely understand how it just gets destroyed by a good Bash opponent, because, this team has absolutely no power to take hits.
Yeah, well, he got his tree back, so hopefully that'll help slow some of his death down, which I feel like it has, because he's gotten 2 new players since I saw him last. So
yeah, he's up to 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe at the end of next season he'll have a full team.
I think I don't know. That might be hoping for a lot. Okay, final thoughts, Mistay. Please sort your players.
Also, get a team motto.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
But this is just painful. War Dancer, catcher, 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 lineman. Oh, it's another War Dancer. Then it's the Tree Man. Then a Thrower. Come on, sort them. Oh, please.
I wonder if he has them by length of time with the team.
I think what it is just he put in the initial 11-man roster, then as they died he bought new players and he never bothered to move them. That's what it feels like to me.
Giving him cursed numbers. That's not good.
I mean, really, he should probably be sorting them by their atomic number, but, that's not happening either.
Yeah. At least hydrogen's number 1.
Yeah, at least. It's something. Okay. Next up is the Werewolf on Wall Street.
All right. Necro team.
This team is kind of bloaty.
I'm wondering what his his team motto is, just what his Discord handle and Reddit handle is.
Yeah, no, Actually, though, if you aren't going to have a proper team motto, then you should do this. This is really
Yeah,
helpful.
that's really
But
nice.
I still
Yeah.
prefer creative team mottos. But, this is good.
So you think this team is bloaty?
A little bit, yeah. It's at 1520 TV, and it does not have a whole lot. I mean, to say that it has no development is not true. It does have development, but it's a very spread out development. And with Necro, you don't really want spread out development. You want a couple pillars of development.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that he's got a level 3 zombie. Um,
Having said
I
that,
don't even know if I would have kept it just for the kick. I might have fired him.
having.
But
Oh, okay. No, just go on.
I was gonna say, having Mighty Blow on the first werewolf is nice, and Blodge on the second one's also good. I'm assuming he had another white that had some levels on it. It surprises me to see a level 1 white on this team. I mean, everything looks by the numbers. He's got
12
a
matches.
double. 12 matches on that one.
It just hasn't gotten
Wow.
any SPP.
That's not good. I'm not a huge fan of ghouls on necro teams. Maybe one just to get a little bit of speed to keep up with the werewolves, but I don't really see that they're needed. But you do have one that's movement 8 and guard on the other, so both are, at least have something and that makes it worthwhile.
I do actually like one ghoul on Necro because it gives you someone to carry the ball when your werewolves are unavailable. But I don't. Plus, also you can turn one into a sacker. But I don't like two of them. It's just a vulnerable, kind of too expensive player on your team. Although having said that, as you pointed out, having one with movement 8 and one with guard, like that feels pretty good. Like I'm not going to complain too much about two ghouls when these are the two ghouls you have.
Yeah, but even the movement 8 one, unless he gets something else kind of special, you already have movement 8 on your werewolves. So if you're going to try in one turn, you'd be doing it with runny cut murder anyway.
Yeah, that's probably true.
The guard, though, definitely. Always guard.
Yeah. Yeah, guard is really nice. Imagine, though, could this have been double guard ghoul? We may never know. But yeah, I think the development on this team is good. I think next season, this is going to be a pretty good Necro team. I just don't think it has the right skills on the right players right now to come in at the top of the leaderboard for this division.
Yeah, but there's a lot of time between now and the end of the season, so
that is true. And they did just beat the Brotherhood, which is definitely a feather in their cap. But they also have a pretty harsh matchup for their remaining games. They start off with Bounce Castle Enthusiasts, which is fine. Then they go straight into Rage Dwarfs. Then Reddit Tacklers. Then the Hausdorf's Homewreckers. So they have both of the dwarf teams. Well, Chaos Dwarfs, whatever. And then they finish off with the Pananimals.
I think they definitely got at least 2 wins in there. It'll be interesting to see if the Claw Mighty Blow can openers fires for the Werewolf of Wall Street. That might give him an edge to make that one closer than you would think.
I mean, that is a good point to make. Like, if they get removals against the dwarves, then that will be like a huge deal, not only for them, but it'll be a big deal for the whole division. Because that could be the chance that a lot of teams are looking for to take down the Ridge Dwarfs of Peg.
Yeah, it's a potential upset.
On the other hand, though, the Dwarf versus Necro matchup, what it often boils down to is, oh gee, I have no guard, and the Dwarfs are hitting my vulnerable players. Like, Claw is scary, but also you need to be careful because it doesn't actually protect. Claw does not protect your good players.
Yeah.
Still,
And every once in a while, your Claw's going to have pillow hands too, so it
yeah.
all depends on if you roll well.
Still, though, it's definitely worth pointing out. I think that matchup in particular is probably going to be one of the highlights of its particular week, if not the rest of the season.
Yeah. I'm going to try and watch that one.
Mm-hmm. Next up is the Hausdorff Homewreckers. Um. Okay, so this team actually has too much guard, which is something that I would usually never say, but with Chaos Dwarves, it's there's some weird level up choices on this team. Okay.
I mean, I I don't really see how that's too much guard. It's only 3.
Okay, no. The problem is not that it has 3 guard, the problem is the ratio. With Cast Dwarves, you usually want about an even amount of guard and Mighty Blow.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Well, he would have had a second Mighty Blow, but he rolled doubles instead, so he's got to wait a little bit.
You do take Claw whenever you roll doubles, but like one of the reasons... Okay, so here's the thing. One of the reasons you want a even amount of guard and Mighty Blow is because you don't want Claw on your guard players. If it happens, great. But you want it to go Mighty Blow, Claw, piling on Cast Dwarves. That is the ideal sequence of level ups for a Chaos Dwarf blocker. Yeah. And it's a lot more likely to happen when you actually take Mighty Blow early on.
Yeah, it'll speed his development up.
Plus, if you don't roll doubles, you still need the Mighty Blow because Chaos Dwarves really heavily rely on being able to remove players.
It is true. But he's got 2 dirty players, so he can do it that way too.
That is true. Hobgoblins on this team are great. The other really weird... He also has a Bull Carry Centaur, which I really like. But it also draws my attention to the other really weird skill pick. Why? I don't understand why there's jump up on this Bull Centaur.
I can't tell you. I wish I could. I wonder if he misclicked on dodge.
Maybe. Like, I could. I want to almost like imagine a world where he's gonna go Mighty Blow and then piling on. But that he won't have that until level 5 on the Bull Centaur, and he needs to wait until level 4 before he has Mighty Blow.
I've never seen that though, so I would very much be intrigued.
Oh yeah, no.
To see that happen.
I think it would be really interesting, but I'm not convinced it would be really good. Not in this order, anyway. I can imagine a world where you take Mighty Blow early on a Bull Centaur and then you take Jump Up, but going block, Jump Up, then Mighty Blow, I think you're opening yourself up to very slow development there.
Yeah.
Plus, Chaos Dwarves genuinely have like some really good double choices.
Yeah, I would have gone dodge there.
Yeah, like dodge is the obvious one, but diving tackle is really good on them. I don't love sidestep on players who can take stand firm, but sidestep is good, really good on a Chaos Dwarf. So you can do that. What else is there? I don't know. I'm sure there's other stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah. Despite my reservations, the Hausdorffs are actually in a pretty good position. They are currently tied for 3rd place, along with the Elements of Style and Werewolves on Wall Street. At 5-1-2. All 3 of them have a record of 5-1-2, incidentally. However, what the Homewreckers also have going for them is that they have 2 bye weeks coming up.
That's nice.
Their remaining matches are bye week, the Pananimals, which is the Dark Elves, then another bye week, then the Werewolf on Wall Street, then the Gads Gobstoppers is their final game.
It'd be interesting to see what Ravenpo does against all that tackle.
Yeah, you know what? If it was literally any other Goblin team, I think that would be an easy win for the Homewreckers. But I genuinely am not sure that'll happen with Ravenbow.
I guarantee he's gonna have Ripper for that one. So he's gonna. You're gonna hope that Claw player has Mighty Blow, as well by that point.
Like I think that'll still be. I think the advantage in the game will still definitely go to Randomus and Damus. I think they'll still go to this team. So, but still, like, I think that'll actually be a really fun game to watch. Either that or a completely brutal one. But I'm hoping for the first option.
I'm hoping it's brutal in the way that not the way that most people would think.
Oh yeah, that of course is also a possibility. But yeah, with 2 bye weeks and a stunty game as a dwarf team, I think if the Rage Dwarfs do fall, I think the Homewreckers are the most likely one to take the first place spot.
Yeah, that makes sense. So put them at it would require a Rage Dwarf to lose a couple though. And I'm not sure if that's gonna happen.
I guess we'll see. But man, where the heck is Rage Dwarf? They're right on the end, aren't they? Whatever. Next team, Bounce Castle Enthusiasts.
Kislev, I never know what to do with Kislev, so you'd probably be better at evaluating this one than me.
I can't say I've ever played Kislev myself, to be honest.
I mean, he's got 2 Wrestle linemen, which is I actually like Wrestle on linemen, especially for these weird agi teams, because they'll create holes on defense for your offense to then run through, which is nice. I believe the Blitzers do have strength access, so that wasn't a double on the Mighty Blow. Kind of want that bear to get one more though, so he can get some guard on the team. But yeah, it's not really a whole lot of development for this team, but I think it's mainly just because their positionals are so expensive.
Yeah, and they do have a deep bench.
Yep.
Okay, so I don't really know how to build a Kislev team properly, but intuitively, I feel like Wrestle should be like Kislev are good sackers because Leap makes them good sackers. But I feel like if you're making a sacker on Kislev, it should be a blitzer or a catcher. Catchers are better at jumping, and blitzers are better at sacking.
Yeah. But I would rather have my blitzers. I mean, you tend to actually blitz with the blitzers, which is might be a mistake with this team. I'm not like I've only played 1 game with Kislev, so and they mystify me. But linemen, I've read at a lot of places that a lot of people like to just do wrestle spam on their linemen, mainly to just when people hit them, they 1 and 9, you take them to the ground. That's 1 less leap you have to make to get through something. You can leap somewhere else.
I can
another player.
I can definitely see that. At the same time, though, like if I was playing Kislev, the setup that I would want, and I don't know that I would ever get there because, like you said, they're too freaking expensive. But the setup that I would want is 4 blitzers, with 2 of them set up as palmers, and at least one of them set up as probably a general utility player, and one of them set up as a dedicated sacker. And maybe... Oh, yeah, I know what I would do with the number 3. I'd do guard and things like that. And maybe that is wrong, and maybe I would never get to that point of doing that in the first place, but I feel like intuitively that is what I would want to do.
I would want to do probably more guard on the blitzers, mainly because or you can. It's easy guard access, and then you leap it into a cage, but you're not attacking with him. And then you leap your wrestler in two. That way, you have a 2 dice on the ball carrier if you've marked up, anybody else that needs to be marked up. That's how I would do it. But again, I'm not sure if that's right.
Yeah. So there you go. Neither of us knows how to play Kislev. I hope this has been helpful to you. Moving on. Click, click, splat. Okay. For a hot second, I thought this was another Kislev team. No, we're fine. It's lizards. I know how to handle this.
Me too.
Okay.
Interesting seeing so much catch on first level skinks. I am a fan of catch on 1 or 2, but it's interesting to see pretty much all of them have been getting catch right off the bat. Mainly catch for the handoff plays, because you have one guy goes deep, hands it off to somebody else, because you're not passing with him, you're going to be handing it off. You get that reroll there, and then you're basically going 16 squares in one turn with the ball if everything goes right.
Yeah, you're right. That is quite interesting. Of course, the one player who did not take catch on his first level up took Sure Feet, then proceeded to roll plus agility on their second level.
Yeah. And I think he's going for fast scoring, because typically what I see with skinks is sidestep and diving tackle. And then if they don't get a double or a stat up by level 3, you just get rid of them. So he does have a Sure Feet sprint catch groupie 1, which I would think about getting rid of. Maybe not maybe at the end of the season, because he gets sidestep. He's a definite 1-turn threat. He's already kind of a 1-turn threat, or at least a quick 2-turn threat.
Yeah.
His Saurus look really nice. I would have liked to seen guard maybe instead of break tackle, but I understand why you would want to take break tackle early.
Like having one source of break tackle is really useful. So
it is. I tend to make that one my third or fourth one though, but that's just me.
Like maybe this was the third one.
It's true.
But yeah, like I think more break tackle would be wrong, but I think the one is fine.
I like to eventually have 2 with break tackle.
The Saurus, of course, or the Croxagore rather, is also brand new. It's only played 1 match.
Oh, what happened? Oh, we saw this, I think, not too long ago. He had one of Axl Rose died. Yeah. That's sad.
Yeah. So, I think this is actually a pretty good-looking lizard team. I think it is a little bit too bloaty right now. Like, first of all, it has 4 rerolls. I think going down to 3 would probably... I don't think lizards need 4 rerolls.
You sometimes feel like they do early, but once you start getting blocked on your Saurus, it's 3 is fine.
Yeah, I certainly don't think that this lizard team needs 4 rerolls.
Yeah, definitely not. I would think about recycling some of those catch skinks.
Yeah,
you can only hand off once a turn.
That's the other thing.
And maybe go ahead.
Yeah, that's the other thing. This team just has a little bit too much SPP. Is a little too much team value in its skinks right now. Like that sort of naturally happens, but that's why you need to cycle your skinks.
But definitely keep the Agi 4 one use him until he dies.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't be afraid to put him in precarious positions. That's what skinks are for. They are to run in there and where people aren't supposed to go and do stupid things, and then they eventually die, but they are heralded as heroes.
Yep. And then Gerber makes a meme about it. So I would personally fire Groupie 1, but you know what? I have been totally beaten by like a level 4 skink with no doubles before.
I would seriously consider firing Groupie 1, but like I said...
Okay, if you ever hear me rag on Wave, the story behind why I do that, you just heard it.
Gotcha.
Anyway,
did he have a level 4 skink or a level 5 skink with no doubles?
almost exactly this build as well. He had this and also sidestep, and then he one turned off of a freaking quick snap, and he won the game because of it.
I mean, see, sometimes if you're not blessed with Binuffle, you gotta build your own one-turners however you can. Like I said, at this point in the season, I don't know if I would fire him. I might want to keep him just to finish it out, because I mean, it still does its job.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically a wood elf catcher that has stunty dodge.
I would fire it if there are bye weeks coming up, but I'm not sure if there are for Click Click's plat. Preparing your team for a bye week, you want to get rid of some skinks. This is the skink you get rid of for that. But yeah, like if you're playing just regular games, it's probably worthwhile to keep it and fire a different skink instead. Because like genuinely, this player is gonna make it easier for you to score, even if it's too expensive. I can definitely see wanting to keep it until the end of the season. Okay. Let's move on. We're on the second page finally. Hey, it's my favorite team! The Gads Gobstoppers!
Alright. So the block troll finally leveled. He's got guard on him now, so he's got 2 guard trolls, which is nice. Brand new Looney, Chainsaw Chester the Third. And not a lot of goblin levels, which is kind of what you want. You got a few sidestep, which is nice, and 1 diving tackle, which you can certainly mark the ball with. But yeah, it's a nice looking goblin team.
Yeah. It actually really is. Like, it's easy for someone who is not familiar with goblins. It's easy to look at this, I think, and go, "Oh well, there's a whole lot of nothing on here." But no, that's the point. A good goblin team doesn't have a lot of anything on it.
Yep.
You want a single double for the chainsaw. You want a single double for the bombardier, and you want level ups on the trolls and fanatic. And if everything else on your team is completely rookie, then that's a good goblin team.
Yeah. Question: does Dirty Player work with chainsaw? I don't think it does.
It does.
Oh, it does.
Sneaky Git, however, is pretty much useless on a chainsaw.
Gotcha.
And there are a lot of skills that don't work with the chainsaw, but no, Dirty Player with fouling does get added when you're fouling with the chainsaw.
I guess that's the double I'd want with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. If you roll a double with a chainsaw, always take freaking Dirty Player. Just like with the Bombardier, you always take a Hail Mary pass. Usually. Yep. Gengar actually doesn't like Hail Mary pass on Bombardiers, but you know what? He's not here, so I can say that he's wrong. No, you take Hail Mary pass on the Bombardier. Okay, so this team is actually performing like really well for a stunty team. It is at 3-4-1 with I think that's with 1 bye week currently. And that record as of Sunday, that ties them in first place in the Stunty Cup. The team they're tied with had, at the time that I updated the ladder, had not played their Week 8 game, so they may, depending on how that goes, they will either be in first place or second place at the start of Week 9.
That's nice. It's Stunty team with only 1 loss through 8 games is gonna be good on the Stunty Cup rankings. So
yeah,
it's not really a surprise.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. It's amazing that's happening. Yeah.
This team, incidentally, is my pick for Stunty Cup winner. I highly advise anyone else who hasn't gotten in a path of playoffs with Harmazord's thing. Just go and say that Ravenpo is going to win. Don't bother entering anything else. Just pick him for the Stunty Cup and then submit it. You'll get at least one right. I can say this with like relative confidence at this point. Although, having said that, I will go. I've also written down Ravenpo's remaining games. Because I'm keeping track of the Stunty Cup, right? And
Yeah.
oh boy, he has a rough last few games. Um, Next week he actually has a bye week, which is good for him. Um, Maybe like although it would be better for him if it was 2 weeks later. Because here's the thing: after that bye week is Bounce Castle Enthusiasts, which is okay. Then it's Yeti to Conquer, Iron Master's team. Then
Well,
it's
he only has 2 tackle, so it's okay.
then it's Rage Dwarfs, the first place dwarf team, and then his final game of the season is the Haasdorff's Homewreckers, the Chaos Dwarf team. So he has the 3 hardest teams, all of which have a lot of tackle, all in a row for his last 3 games of the season.
Yeah, and I mean, Iron Master, who's got what 3 tackle on his team now, but he's got so much frenzy that it kind of doesn't matter.
Frenzy is poor man's tackle. Plus he has block.
Yeah, on everything.
And block is just as good as tackle against dodge players who do not themselves have block.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are going to be some really rough games for Ravenbow. But
it'll be interesting.
Yeah, that is actually the only reason I'm not 100% sure that he will get the Stunty Cup, because those games are going to be really damn rough. So
you just told everybody to submit their answers.
I know I did. Oh no, I still think he's going to do it. But Snot Battery, which is the other team who is contesting with him for that first place spot. I mean, there's other teams as well, but that's the team that is doing best other than him. If they get like a couple more wins, I don't know. How many more wins would they need? Look, I'm not sure exactly how many wins they would need, but like it is within the realm of possibility that they would get some lucky wins, and then that would put them over Ravenpo after a series of really bad games.
Hopefully Ravenpo can open up his coffers to the Brabbing Guild, and maybe some Snot Battery's team will not do so hot. We'll see.
And actually, I will mention, Snot Battery has also been doing amazing, just not as amazing as Ravenpo. Like, they've been doing well in G-Man 5, meaning not a new division. This is a returning Ogre team that is doing well in a returning division. But we're not talking about G-Man 5, so that's all I'm going to say about them.
Exactly.
Anyway, let's move on to the next team. It is the Pananimals. Get Otter here.
I do like his team names.
Mm-hmm. I love all these names, but we went over all the puns the last time we looked at them, I think, so I'm not going to repeat the same jokes.
Yeah.
If only for brevity's sake.
I mean, I like the team build. It's got 2+ movements on his team, which is good for Dark Elf teams, and 1 Agi 5 player that's nice. I'm assuming he's going to take Leap next. On totally irrelevant.
Yeah, like, this is actually a really good team.
Yeah, I would like to see more development on the linemen too, because Dark Elves, at least from what my experience with it is, you kind of want even development throughout the entire team. Because once you start getting blodge on all of your linemen too, it's just really nice.
Dark Elves definitely fit into the elf mold though, where they tend to get really bloated really fast. But I think they can pull it off better than the other elves. Like, they tend to have a little bit more staying power, and all of their positionals are just so good.
Yeah. Except for the assassin. Nobody should ever get an assassin.
Okay, most of their positionals are just so good. Like, even the runner. A lot of Dark Elf coaches don't take the runner, but that's not because the runner's bad. It's just because they don't need it. The runner is a good player. It's just Blitzers and Witch Elves are better.
Yeah, and they're already super expensive with just those 6 players, so trying to keep it trim is already a difficult task. You don't need to add another 90
Mm-hmm.
TV player that has no real usable skills to start with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Having said that, Big Chuck is 3, 2, and 3, so sort of an averaging season.
Yeah.
I think probably he's struggling a little bit because his team is a little bit bloated right now with the stat ups, which will be great for his team later on. But right now, like a little bit too much of his TV, I think is being taken up from things that he can't yet fully take advantage of. But this team is definitely in a state where it's just going to get better as it goes along.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're not in the top, like 3 or 4 of your division at this stage, you're just playing for development anyway, and you're playing the long development game with all the stat ups, so you might as well keep doing what you're doing. And if everything lives, it's gonna be really good.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's now finally we've gotten to the Rage Dwarf, which you know what? It only has 2 dwarfs that have the same name now, so you know he's done a really good job at cycling those dwarfs.
Yeah. And we saw one of them was on the Rotter Hood now.
Oh, and you know what? He bought a second runner.
Nice. That's what I like to see. Influence. It's a good dwarf team. I don't really know what else to say about it other than, you know, it's got a lot of guard, got a lot of mighty blow, 1 piling on player so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
Movement
like
7 runners, awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I would be pretty happy to be playing this team right now, to be honest. Maybe not in Div 1. Literally the only thing that Unseen Walker did that I would not have done is I would not have taken Mighty Blow on this Longbeard. That is literally the only thing. And that's not even like a bad decision, it's just my preference. I think dwarves should go really hard on guard. And you know what? I think he's going to continue to go pretty hard on guard. Like, he has 4 of it right now, which I think is the most in his division.
Yeah. I mean, even then, I mean, with the Mighty Blow, if he gets guarded next, he's not that far away from it. It's the same distance as anybody else. That's a rookie would be.
Yep, that's true. That is very true.
And he's probably going to get faster just because he has the Mighty Blow. So.
Plus, you know, he has the extra long beard, so he can start fouling things if he wants.
Yeah.
Or maybe even use his spare runner, I don't know. I'm not going to tell you what to do, as long as you're fouling things, because I'm going to tell you to foul things.
I don't really want to tell you what to do either, because you seem to be doing way better at playing this game than I have this season. So 7-1-0 to start is it's pretty nice. Pretty nice start.
Oh, actually. Okay, no, this still says 7-1-0. What? It was suggested to me, and maybe I was misinformed, but it was suggested to me that Rage Dwarfs, one of their wins, because it is worth mentioning, they have had more admin wins than any other team in this division. Again, because of all the players dropping and then getting replaced, the situation for the admin wins was really, really weird for this division. And I think this is a good team, and the Unseen Walker has done really well in all the games he's played. But it is a matter of fact that he has had, let's see, I think 3 admin wins? Yeah, he's had 3 admin games where everyone else in the season is only going to have 2.
Gotcha. I mean, it happens.
But the reason I mentioned that is I think one of his admin games was turned into a draw. It's not shown on the scoreboard right now, but if you look at Hargenzord's path to playoffs, at least when I looked at it, it looked to me like one of them was turned into a draw. So one of his wins counts as a draw for the purpose of the playoff contention. That still puts him in first place.
Did you talk to him though about that, or was that because that could have been a typo on his end?
It might have been a typo. I haven't verified this. There's a huge this with a huge grain of salt. There's a whole lot of asterisks beside it, but And you know what? Unseen Walker's in first place either way.
That's true.
But maybe the route to getting ahead of him is 2 points less than it seems like it is. Maybe. Talk to Harngsword. Don't bug me about it. But yeah, I really like how this team is developing. I think it needs more guard, and I think it's going to get more guard. I think it is still probably my favorite in its current position for coming in first place in the season, whether it is 7-1 or 6-2. Either way, I think it is still my favorite. And here is its remaining 5 matches. The Pananimals, which is Dark Elves. Werewolf on Wall Street, which we talked about. That is going to be a big deal game. Then Bounce Castle Enthusiasts. Then the Gad Stoppers. Then Elements of Style. So
I think this team is equipped to deal with pretty much all of that.
I think so as well. That is a whole lot of agility teams and werewolves.
Yeah, but he's got a lot of tackle, and if he can play smart, which he has been, because he's got this record, even if it was 3 admin games, he obviously knows what he's doing. So if he can keep playing smart, keep the agility in front of him, hit him with the right pieces, I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, like I agree. As I just said. Now, whoops. Now we are going a little bit long, so let's look at the last 2 teams, I think, really quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, the Reddit Tacklers, which are not doing so great, but you know what? They have a good-looking team. Genuinely.
I think they showed up like 2 or 3 weeks ago too, though. So
yeah, no, they showed up they showed up really late, and I think the one Free Skelly is a pretty new coach as well. But you know what? He has a good Skaven team, so like genuinely beat up though it is, he is. Well, it's a little hard to tell because of the way it's spread out. But I mean, this looks like mostly good development to me. I mean, he has a movement 10 gutter runner. Come on,
that's always nice.
This is almost a 1-turner. It's 1 level up away from being a natural 1-turner.
Yeah, that's gonna be nice. He looks like he just bought a Rat Ogre though. I don't know if I would have gone that route, but maybe he felt like he needed it to play kind of catch up.
He did just buy it. It looks like, well, because his Storm Vermin died, so it looks like he replaced it with a Rat Ogre.
Interesting.
Right. Okay, so this team has been mathematically eliminated from getting the playoff spot. So that's not happening. So it should just be looking at the remaining games as development games. And I think if the one Free Skelly develops this team smart, they will actually have a really good team for the next season.
Yeah.
They just need to get that SPP on the gutter runners mostly, and it'll be amazing.
For me, my thought process for this would be for you is to play one of 2 ways. Either play loose and fast and don't care about any of your players and go into the greenhorn once they all eventually die.
Yes, the Chaos Blue style.
Or, do your best to target your SPP and don't go into the Devastational with a rookie rat team, and wait for next season to get a full fresh go. I'm a fan of the loose and fast, because at least you know it's going to be fun no matter what. And if they all die, and you can start with a new team in the greenhorn.
One other thing I'll add, if you're not on there already, definitely, this is advice for the one Free Skelly specifically, definitely head over to the Rookie League if you aren't over there already. Because there are a lot of people over there who will be happy to give you advice for how to play your team. And okay, I'm working on the assumption that you're a new coach. I think you probably are. Usually I'm pretty good at identifying that from game recaps. Uh, but I think that they will be able to give you a lot of advice for getting your team so that it'll be really, really good for the next season. And sort of advice on how to develop it so that you can develop it so that it's really good for the next season. But
Also,
yeah.
the Rookie League Spin League is a lot of fun too.
Mm-hmm. That too. But yeah, let's move on to the last team of the division. That would be Frosting and Filling. This is another Norse team. It is actually a pretty good Norse team, but they also came in this is the last team that was added, so they came in really damn late.
Yeah, I remember talking about this one with Gengar, and how it perplexed me in certain areas. I don't think it's changed much since then, except for I think Strength 4 on the Berserker is new, but everything else looks kind of the same from what I remember.
Well, it has a thrower, it has a runner, it has a build your own runner with sure hands and agility. It has another build your own runner with Dauntless. Oh wait, no, actually that's just the runner. No, yeah, it is two runners. It is. Yeah. It just has all the positionals, okay?
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't hate it. If I was playing Norse, I would this is how I would want to play Norse. I don't know that I would, but it is definitely what I would want to do.
For me, I stand by what I said last week, or the last time we looked at this team. Pick one between the lineman and the thrower. You don't need both of them. The lineman with Agi for sure hands.
Okay, yeah, admittedly, that's a bit of an odd choice.
I would probably drop the thrower at this point. You've already got 3 rerolls. You've got only 2 players who don't have block at this point. One of them's got loner anyway, so you're not going to want to use a reroll on him. I don't think you really need to have both of those, and the thrower's not going to really help you as much if sure hands Agi 4 is the guy picking up the ball.
That is all true enough. Yeah, though, I really hope this team sticks around because I want to see it, how it does. I want to see, much as with the Rats, I really want to see what this team does next season.
Yes.
There's definitely potential here for this to turn into like a really weird and interesting, but still a good team.
And we all know that I love Norse because I am probably Ornan's biggest fan. But I definitely want to see this team go play some more. This one is also one that I would still play loose and fast just because it's fun. If they die, they die. But hopefully they live because I want to see this one next season. And hopefully I'll be in the same division as you.
And same thing as with Mistake. Please, for the sake of all that is good in this world, sort your players so that I can tell. So that, like, group the different player types. Please. Okay. That being out of the way. Let's quickly look at the leaderboard. Ragedorf is on top, then it is the Brotherhood, then it is a 3-way tie between the Werewolf of Wall Street and the Homewreckers and the Elements of Style, who, again, have a bye week. So, who do you think is going to win?
I think I already told you, it's Ragedorf.
Yeah, I think we already sort of said it. I also think that it's probably going to be Ragedorf. I think if it's not Ragedorf, it will probably be the Homewreckers. And we quizzed Gengar, and he also thought it would be Ragedorf's.
I would disagree. If it's not Ragedorf, I think it's Werewolf of Wall Street. But
okay, you know what? That's a fair opinion. I disagree, but
I acknowledge that you have.
But it could definitely.
But it's wrong.
No, like, it could definitely happen. Like, the Werewolf on Wall Street and the Homewreckers are the same number of points behind Ragedorf.
Yeah.
But I think the Homewreckers have a easier set of games.
Fair.
And that really is why I think that if not Rage Dwarfs, it'll be them.
Gotcha. All right.
Okay. Anyway, we are we're not that far behind. A few minutes. 10. Okay. Let's quickly get into Div 9C, starting in week 8. Oh, there are unplayed games here. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, there's a lot of unplayed games.
Yeah,
right
there's
now.
a couple of them. Okay, so let's look at the games that are played. Dead Presidents versus the Crawdad Zydeco Experience, and the Humans win 1-0.
Yeah, I watched some of this yesterday, but I can't for the life of me remember what happened because I was so tired. But a lot of linemen got hurt. I do remember that. But yeah, Rock Lobstrosity took it away.
Mm-hmm. I did not watch it. Dead Presidents had a crazy number of blocks and 6 injuries inflicted. So they really bashed the crap out of the Humans, but the Humans still won.
I do remember parts of that. So the one thing that I saw from that game that I might have wanted to change if I was the Dead President's coach, he was taking a lot of blocks before doing safe moves to attack the ball carrier, especially right after the ball was taken from him. So he's like taking mummy blocks, and while people were still on the ground. So he got a little too tunnel sighted into, hey, let's hit stuff before doing some other things that I think could have helped him prevent this loss. It might have been a tie or a win for him. But yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. These stats look to me like a game where the undead focused on just killing his opponent to the possible exclusion of other things.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. The Fat Earthers versus Economy of Scale, with the Lizards winning 2-0 against our ogre friends.
I did not watch this game, but it makes me sad that the Fat Earthers only got an MVP for their SPP game. And that kind of tells the story, doesn't it?
At least it's on an ogre.
That's true.
But yeah, it really does. 7 KOs, 0 injuries. That's sad. So they broke lots of armor. They just didn't get the rolls they needed.
Yeah.
Having said that, I do think... I mean, there are a lot of matchups that are hard for ogres, but I think lizards are definitely, they're definitely up there. It's relatively easy, I think, for lizards to get good blocks in ogres, where usually they're more reliant on that being harder to do.
Yeah, just that much strength 4 definitely helps them. And if he's got his guys, grouped in 2s, and one of them has block, you got a semi-reliable 1 dice on an ogre to free both of them up.
Yeah. Okay. I would have liked to see a more even game, but this is pretty much the result I was expecting. Moving on. Nerves versus the Rockin' Sock'ems, with Nerves winning 2-1.
Yeah, that was a tough one. Nerves played a really good game. It was pretty even for the most part. A lot of both of us trying to force the other coach into making rolls that they didn't want to make, to try and force turnovers. Unfortunately, he got the dice when he needed it, and I didn't.
So what was the player?
It was still a close game.
What was the player you killed?
I killed just a zombie, unfortunately.
Well, at least it's something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely feels like against undead, necro, and nurgle. It's like, oh well, why did I even bother doing this? You're just gonna get a new one next game, and it's not even gonna cost you anything.
And honestly, when we get to Nerves' team, I'll tell you why. But I was taken off guard as to how fast and agile his team was.
Really, that's interesting. We will talk about it when we get to it. Okay. Yeah. This Yeah, the statistics for this game pretty much look like what you described, actually. Okay. Moving on. The other game that has been played, Mystery Science Goats 3000 versus Mammals of Unusual Size. And the Amazons won a game!
Yeah, little winning streak going on right now. I didn't see much of this game, but
And a line woman didn't die either. That's got to be a first.
yeah, that's what can you say? You hope for it, and it finally happened. Everybody's happy. But the other thing is too is I played Mystery Science Goes 3K not too recently, and I think he only had one tackle piece at that point, and only one block when I played him. Now he has two. So it's tough. It's tough. A tough ass to go up against Amazon with only two block and a tackle. That's rookie chaos. And
oh yeah, and Negative Pro has been struggling. I think to. It's not that he's been struggling with his team so much as that he's been struggling to get good SPP, I think.
Yeah.
It is worth mentioning, we were talking about new coaches either. I happen to know, I know almost exactly when REBBL started because his first season of REBBL was last season, and I also did his division last season. And he was like a absolutely brand new coach for that. So I have a very good image in my mind of exactly how experienced he is, and I mention this because he's actually doing so much better than he did in his first season.
You said Negative Pro, right?
Yeah,
I heard Raven Po.
I might have said I may have said Raven Po once. To be honest, the names aren't remotely similar, but for some reason they get mixed up in my head. Okay, it just happens.
Gotcha.
But yeah. I want to emphasize that because I do think Negative Pro has really improved over last season, and I'm excited to see how he improves next season.
Yeah.
But also, he is, I think, mathematically out of playoffs, actually. Yeah.
Most of the division is already mathematically eliminated.
Well, actually, only 3 of them are mathematically eliminated, but about half of it is in the position where it would take a small miracle.
Yeah.
Okay, those were the games. Such as they were. So let's jump straight into the teams. Hey, the first one is Negative Pro. Mystery Science Goats 3000 in the not too distant future. I don't know the rest of this theme song.
I've only watched that show once when I was a child. I don't know it either. But, yeah, this team doesn't look much different since the last time I looked at it. Like I said, he's got one extra block on a Chaos Warrior since I played him 2 weeks ago. I still want to say fire that Beastman and you got 170k right now. Fire the movement busted one. You don't want him getting an MVP and leveling up.
I mean, honestly, I don't think you even need to replace it, but if you don't want to. But I agree, you do fire it.
Yeah. I would hate for that to get an MVP. You know, somebody else who could use it to level. And then you have, you know, one of your 5 leveled up players being line fodder.
Yeah.
So.
And, here's the thing with this team that sticks out to me. This team actually has a lot of SPP on it. It's
spread
out, so it doesn't have very many skills. Like one good game, and this team is gonna get like 3 or 4 level ups.
It looks like all but 3 players will level up with an MVP. So if
4
it's not those
players
3
will level up with a vanity pass.
That's true.
And another 2 just from a single touchdown. One good game and 3 or 4 players will be leveling up all at once.
Yep.
It might even be like Ravenpo, or I just did it. I said Ravenpo. Negative. It's the last part because pro
it rhymes.
And po.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
What I think Negative Pro should actually do is he should start doing vanity pass at the beginning of his half when he has the ball relatively safe. Like, don't do it if the ball is being threatened, right? But
Yeah.
he can probably do on his offensive drive on turn like 1 or 2. He can probably get away with doing vanity passes, and he can get a lot of level ups relatively easily that way.
Yeah.
And I think doing that in his next 2 or 3 games will make a huge difference for this team. Actually, 5 of them vanity pass it. One of them is almost at level 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would want to say start with Big McLarge Huge too, just because that first block mighty blow player on a warrior is so nice.
Mm-hmm.
So I would want to say start with him. I would do it with him though on like turn 8 when you're getting the ball back though, because you want that block chaos warrior up there for the start of your drive.
Yeah. But there are several beasts. There's still 3 different beastmen at 5 out of 6. So just have one of them pass the ball on turn 2.
Yep.
Other than that, I don't know how much else there's to say. Like, this is clearly a bash team that has been struggling to get permanent injuries.
Yeah, and I think they've actually been they're about even on casualties, 9 and 9.
Mm-hmm.
So but they haven't lost anybody yet. Nobody's died, so that's always good.
Well, no, I think they have lost one player. They just haven't realized it yet. But other than that, yeah, it's a pretty healthy team.
Yeah.
Let's see. What would you take on the level ups?
For which one?
Well, I mean, most of the team is close to a level up, so
I would start with block on all of your warriors because maybe the 4th one to level starts with Mighty Blow, just so he can play catch up with everybody else. I like block on Beastman first, unless you roll doubles. Then you get dodge, and he becomes your ball carrier. I'm not a fan of building a ball carrier until I get doubles, and I think I had this conversation with you before.
Yeah, I completely agree about the ball carrier comment. I don't think you should build a ball carrier on... I don't think you should do it at all on Chaos until you do get a double or stat up. Because not only are you inevitably going to get a player who's better suited to it, but also... if you have a ball carrier, then they're going to hog SPP. And you can even see that on this team, probably. And unless that 10 out of 10 is 2 MVPs, it's 2 MVPs. Okay, you know what? Never mind. Okay,
so, I mean,
well,
like
often having an early ball carrier on a team like KS will cause it to hog SPP, although clearly in this team that is not the case.
Yeah. Maybe he's just using those extra arms to pick up and tackle zones. You get big hand for that, so I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the season, I think this is going to be a pretty good, well-developed Chaos team. It's a shame I don't think it's going to get there until the end of the season.
Yeah. But this is a team that I would think about playing 1 or 2 games in the Devastational as well. So
yeah, its
still got that.
Its TV is actually pretty low, so that's... At least for the first round of the Devastational, that means your survival rate is like way higher. The higher your TV in the TV, the more deadly round 1 is.
Yeah, I'm probably not getting that myself, but
yeah, it'll be a hard choice for me. Anyway, moving on. Nerves. They've got action potential.
Yes. They've got actual potential to win the division, too. They're only 1 game back.
Yeah, they are.
And so, I don't know if you're looking at the team yet, but
no,
I think
it's
you
up.
I think you understand what I meant by being a little bit more movement and agile than I was expecting an undead team to be.
So this team has 4 ghouls.
Yeah. One of them was brand new to the team right before the game started. He bought it literally right before the game started. And
Presumably that would be Deep
Peronial,
Peronial?
I guess. Deep Peronial. All of his players that he's bought are named after actual nerves in the body, so I'm assuming that's also a nerve.
Well,
That's really deep in there.
there's already a Peronial, so
Yeah.
which is also a ghoul. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Of course, he
Again,
does have Woody Woodpecker, so not every player's a nerve. Although I guess Woody Woodpecker might get on your nerves.
Yeah, the bottom 3 are his Pokemon.
Yep.
So, and I think I actually killed one of those Pokemon last game. But he's got. We were talking about this with Gengar last week, and it's pretty much a picture-perfect undead team. I wouldn't have gone with the 4th ghoul personally, because I feel like that's a little bit too much bloat on a undead team.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he used it well. They were all of his ghouls were dodging away from me, screening, keeping me away from being able to hit the players that I really wanted to. So I mean, he used them well.
The other thing is, on the topic of bloat, like, sure, that might be bloaty, but I'm looking at his TV, and you know what? 1460 is completely acceptable in this division. That is not. Yeah. That is low enough that you're not going to have inducement problems. You're not going to be inducing Cheney either, but you know what? That probably wasn't in the cards anyway.
Yeah. But I mean, it's other than that, it's picture perfect undead team. Guard on both your mummies, a Palmer, a Blodge White with Mighty Blow, Blodge Sure Hands Ghoul, Blodge Guard Ghoul. Now you got a Wrestle Dodge Ghoul who's going to become, I'm assuming, your sacker until one of the whites gets Tackle.
At the same time, the mummies are not like monster mummies either.
They're not, but
I know my first season in REBBL, there was one undead team in my division. It was like one Blodge mummy and one strength 4 mummy, or no, strength 6 mummy.
Jesus.
Yeah, like that was freaking brutal.
But yeah, not a lot of teams in this division have Tackle, so with all that dodge there, I mean, it works. It's going to work out well for him, and it has been working out well for him. So
yeah, I can definitely see that. And let's just go over their remaining games quickly. They have Dauntless Unicorn, which I believe is High Elves, maybe Pro Elves.
They're Pro Elves. Yeah, they're Pro Elves.
Basically the same difference.
Yeah.
Then they have
easier to kill High Elves.
Then they have Mystery Science Goats 3000. Then they have a bye week. And incidentally, there are only one of 2 teams in the top 4 who have a bye week. I guess that's half, but still. Then the Dead Presidents, then Red Rage.
I'd be interested to watch those last 2. I don't think they're going to have much trouble with the first 2 in the bye week. Though the bye week might get them. I'm not sure.
Okay, so I will remind you, Red Rage is a halfling team.
Oh, I know. That's why I'm super excited to watch it.
Oh, okay. Just wanted to make sure we were on the same page there. Yeah, no, I think that will be an interesting game, but also I think Nerves will probably win it.
I've never actually watched a halfling versus undead game before, and I'm very interested to see how the undead deal with 2 big guys that outstrike their big guys.
Actually, that is a good point. I can't say that I've seen it before either. Intuitively though, my sense is that the undead can probably just ignore the trees.
Yeah. I mean, but they don't have any tackle yet, which is definitely going to hurt them. They do have a lot of block, but
that is very true. I guess in any case, I agree. I think that will be a fun game to watch, if nothing else.
Yeah. And you never know, halflings they can dice people too, especially if he can. And it looks at. So you said that TV thing was not a big deal. 1460 against 850 as it stands. That's a lot of TV. That's a chef and deep root and maybe even puggy bacon breath. I'm not sure how much he needs to get all three of those things.
Okay, but I mean, for halflings, that is not actually a huge TV difference. That's
Fair.
business as usual. Okay, the next team is Wood United, coached by Luke4444. Let us flail in the wind and drifting towards win. Oh, that's nice. And, yep, there's half a team here. Anyway.
5, 6, 7,
Okay,
8, 9. Just as many people as Mistace has. So.
I was gonna say, this is more like what I was expecting Mistace's team to look like.
So he never, I don't think he ever had a tree. Which, I don't know. I know some Wood Elf coaches don't.
It might have just died early, I'm not sure.
I don't remember ever having one.
You know what? You cannot do a tree and 2 war dancers.
Yeah, you cannot.
So I think you probably took 2 war dancers instead of the tree.
Yeah. I don't know if he wants to get a tree at this point. I would, just because you don't have a whole lot of levels on your linemen yet, and it'll keep them alive a little bit more, just because that's one less person that has to be on the line of scrimmage.
Plus, the tree is just good.
Yeah, trees are good until they root. But yeah, it's a good-looking team. He's got Nerves of Steel on his catcher already, which is great. Strip ball tackle war dancer already. Robin Wood's about to level 2.
Is this a new war dancer actually?
Yeah, he had one
3
die.
games.
Yeah, he had. I know he had one war dancer die. I think on week 1, and it took him a while to get it replaced.
Yeah. Okay then. I'm not sure that I have much to add to this, to be honest. This particular team, to be honest.
Yeah. I like for Wood Elves, I like to start with dodge instead of block and wrestle, but that's completely a personal preference.
I've heard a lot of elf coaches say that.
Yeah, you can really build them either way, but I like dodge first just because 1, you're faster, 2, you're not really a hitting team to begin with, and 3, nobody really has tackle except for dwarves at the start anyway, so it's going to help you out because and if they don't have block, they're not taking the both down normally.
Yeah.
So
those are all very true points. Yeah, I mean, like, I do not disagree with any of that. At the same time, though, I'm thinking in the back of my head, well, you know what, my main elf experience was in an all elf league where I built a murder elf team that is a elf team to murder other elf teams. And you know what's really good for murdering elves? Taking block. Yeah.
It's like I said, it's not wrong. It's just that I don't know if I would personally do it that way.
But yeah, no, like, this actually seems like a good team for its development. It's taken some damage, but I think it is still at a point in its development where it can stick around next season and it will be better next season. Let's put it that way. It is not killing itself.
That catcher is already really nice. You just need to be careful that he doesn't steal all of the development from everybody.
Actually, if anything, this team could use another catcher and again a tree.
Yep.
Okay, moving on. Let's look at the Fat Earthers, who have not won a single game.
But so this is new. He's got a block ogre.
Oh, and it's the one who got MVP in that game we looked at.
Yes. So,
of course,
that's awesome.
Of course, it's the YouTuber.
Now, my question for you is: do you get an apothecary on an ogre team? I feel like you would want to.
You definitely don't start with it. And I think in this particular case, the rerolls are way more important. I would not pick up that Appo until I had at least 4 rerolls.
Gotcha.
Um, but I think it is worthwhile to eventually pick up the Appo. It's just not. It's not a priority in the short term. At least that's my opinion.
Did he lose a second ogre? I know he lost one early, but I thought he started with 6. No, he's only lost 1 ogre so far. So it was just the 1 ogre. I thought he had, because ogres can have 6, right? You can have 6 ogres. I've never actually played an ogre team, so
you can have 6 ogres.
okay. I thought he started with 6.
Usually you don't, because you can start with 6 ogres and no rerolls, 5 ogres and 2 rerolls, or 4 ogres and 4 rerolls.
Gotcha.
Usually people want at least 2 rerolls.
Yeah, that makes sense. So would you go for the 6 ogre or a reroll?
Let me think. I have played ogres before, and when I did it, I went 5 and 2. Because I really value having at least 1 reroll. Like, I mean, ogres are a team that need a ton of them, right? But I mean, I sort of don't care. Like, I'm still gonna work my way towards having rerolls. I just don't. I mean, I'm not playing ogres because I'm being really competitive, you know.
Yeah.
So I just don't really care that much if I don't start with the optimal number. I'm willing to take my time to slowly pick up more. Having said that, I think it's just painful to play with none. And I think the optimal build, if not the most fun one, is 4 and 4.
All right. Well, I meant for this team, would you pick up the 3rd reroll next or the 6th ogre?
Okay, I misunderstood your question, and
It's okay.
I would pick up the 3rd reroll.
That's fair. If you were gonna go with the ogre though first before the reroll, I would highly suggest getting the apothecary because you don't want to lose an ogre right after you buy him.
I think that would be a reasonable choice. If you have all 6 ogres, like you said, you don't want to lose one. They're expensive. May as well get that Appo. So that you hopefully don't need to invest in more ogres while you're still trying to get rerolls.
Exactly. All right.
Okay, moving on. Oh, Flat Earthers also. They are not going to get the Stunted Cup. It is impossible. Moving on. Okay, actually, no, I want to go back to this because that's like a bad way to end on the Flat Earthers. No, like, I really hope that. I feel like the Real Denizen has been having a really rough time with this team. And I kind of want them to come back with it next season, although I understand if they don't want to. But, like... Actually, Ogres have been doing surprisingly well in their second season divisions this season. Food for thought. But yeah, I kind of want to see what happens with the Real Denizen with this team next season, but I wouldn't blame you at all if you didn't want to.
Ogres are a weird stunty team where they actually want development. So
it's and also keep in mind the teams who are currently on the top of the stunted leaderboard are not only good but like freaking amazing with their performance.
Yeah, those G-Man ogres are crazy. Like the development that they've had on them is crazy. Though I'm not sure if Snot Battery's the one that I saw. There was one ogre team that I saw that
there are
3 ogres to
two
death.
different ogre teams in G-Man 5. Snot Battery and Scholars of Ogre Hampshire.
So it wasn't the Scholars of Ogre Hampshire got destroyed. So it might have been Snot Battery. There's one ogre team in G-Man that had 3 ogres die this week.
Oh, wow. Okay. Hmm. I'm going to need to check that later, but it's not really pertinent to this.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
it's very pertinent to my side job of running the stunty leaderboard, though. Okay, Crawdad's Deco Experience is next. This is a human team. Uh, I feel like it doesn't have a lot of development.
It I for a human team only playing 8 games, it's not terrible development. Most of it is loaded onto your blitzers and your ogre, which is what you want.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think it's a lot of development, but it's definitely all in the right place.
Exactly.
I think all of these level ups are solid as well. Well, Frenzy is maybe a little bit iffy, but other than, and it's not actually, yeah, it's not that Frenzy is bad. Frenzy on a human blitzer makes a lot of sense, but I think this was the wrong time to take it. Still, it's not bad, and like all of this development looks pretty solid to me.
Yeah. It'll be it's a very good one. The frenzy movement one. If you're gonna have frenzy on a blitzer, yeah, the movement 8 is the one you want it on, just because you don't have to get that extra GFI to get that extra block in if you're making a long distance play.
Yeah,
I would have liked to see more guard already, but I can understand wanting to make a crazy player when you get a movement up on your first level and just having fun with it. So.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Excuse me. Thrower's almost leveled up. And that's really about it, actually. Yeah, it really is everything on the blitzers.
Yep.
I'm not even sure that I have much to add. Like, I feel like this team is being developed properly. It's just it's just not the amazing level that lets it get ahead of the teams in first place. And actually, having said that, this team is in 4th, so it's not like it's doing badly either.
Yeah. For playing 8 games and only having 6 touchdowns, though, that kind of hurts your development. But I mean, it's.
On the other hand, consider this: they've won 5 games. That means that all but one of the games that they have finished, maybe all of them actually, games they finished. No, actually no. Every single game that they have won 1-0. Because they
got good defense.
Yeah, and the game they also have 1 draw, which was 1-1. Yeah. So clearly, Rock Lobstrosity is playing well.
And plus, you got a nice bench of linemen to start fouling with at this point. So just a matter of time till you get some dirty players.
That it certainly does. And since they're in the top 4, just to quickly go over their remaining matches. Next week, they have the Rock and Sockums.
They're probably going to win that one.
If you say so.
The humans, yeah. I think the humans got that one.
After that is Dauntless Unicorn. Then Mammals of Unusual Size. Then a bye week. Then All Orc and No Play.
Honestly, I think it'll be difficult those next 3 games, I think, just because he doesn't have any tackle yet and only 1 frenzy for budget tackle. And especially since it's elves for the first 2, most of the ones with dodge are going to have block as well, so the block's not going to really help you.
Yeah, like
it'll be
this frenzy. This should have been tackle. Should have taken frenzy next level.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think he can win just because Rock Lobstrosity is a good coach. I don't know if his team is ready for that lineup yet for 2 elves and Amazons, but we'll see.
Then orcs also. I'm not sure what shape all orc is in, but traditionally the orcs have the advantage in that matchup.
Yeah, and Fugyu, or Fugyu, however you want to pronounce it, he's also a good coach. I've played him multiple times in the Spin League and CCL, and we did the season opener together. He's still a good coach, so
Mm-hmm.
he's no pushover either. So
Okay. Uh, moving on, we have Economy of Scale, which I believe is the current first place team.
that they are whopping in or coming in at a whopping 8-0-0.
So this is okay. That Crocs is really weird. Um, this is
Have fun with it.
yeah.
I don't know if I would have taken the movement 7. I know it was a 6 and a 4 because I talked to him about
Okay.
this one.
Yeah, like
when it happened.
if this was a double, this was objectively the wrong choice. But it is
Yeah.
much more debatable on the 6 and 4.
Well, the 6, I think he just wanted it for the fun of it. Which you can't blame him.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? That's
you
fine.
played games for fun. Yeah. So.
Plus, I mean, if you hit break tackle, then you can actually use it. So,
Yep.
why not? But yeah, if this was a double, like, there's no way you take movement on a Crocs on a double.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, that really stands out. But you know what? This team still looks like pretty good. It has a decent development on Saurus for this number of games.
Yeah.
I don't love Frenzy, but I don't hate it either.
I kind of hate it, but that's just me.
I think this is the
'cause-
same case as with the Blitzer we just looked at. This should be tackle.
It should be block, in my opinion. It should be, because especially now that it's got Frenzy, you really want block first, because now he's got to make
Mhm.
2 rolls to not 1 and 9 every turn he blocks. So
Okay, so I think there is a good argument for taking something other than block first on 2 or 3 Saurus, but I don't think you take Frenzy first.
yeah, Frenzy's not the one, not the substitute there. I could see tackle, I could see
tackle
guard, I could see mighty blow,
or guard or mighty blow or maybe break tackle, depending on what you need. You don't
yeah,
Frenzy first this is asking for turnovers.
yeah.
And
But
also tackle would just be more useful. But it's
he's
probably
8-0,
fun.
So
And
yeah.
like you said, he has a flawless record. So
yeah,
there you go. Other than that, these skinks are freaking amazing. He has 2 block skinks. One of them has sidestep as well. The only thing he doesn't have is like a stat ups on his skinks.
the 2 block skinks are great. And that's definitely not a wrong choice. I think there is a debate on if you would have taken sure hands with one of them. I would have done it with bootstraps and not fraud, just because blodge step is so strong.
Mm-hmm.
But having sure hands on a lizardman team is amazing.
I wonder what order these leveled up in actually, because
he got I think either invisible hand or wrestle to work, and then the other 2 skinks both got level, or all 3 of them got levels. Last game, all 3 of them rolled doubles, and he only took the skink ones and got block on both.
Okay then. Well, yeah, at least he's doing something right then. You don't. Okay, doubles can be good on a Saurus, but much like with this Frenzy, a double is a bad level up for your first level on a Saurus.
Yeah.
It just slows down your development, and you can't do much with it until you have more skills.
Yep.
But yeah, like I honestly I can see why this team is doing well. First of all, it's the lizards, which are just sort of bullshit, but it has good. It has SPP where it sort of needs it, and it has like pretty good skinks, and its team value is not. Its team value is not too high.
Yeah. I think it's a very, very, very good lizard team, except for the Frenzy. But hey, who am I to judge? You're 8-0.
So we are judging you, Furl, but only a little bit because you're in first place. Okay, moving on. Actually, no. Back to here. I didn't mention who they're playing against because I think it's important. They are in first place. They have the Dwarfs of Duncan next, followed by All Orc No Play, then the Rock and Sockums, uh, then Dauntless Unicorn, and finally Mammals of Unusual Size.
It'll be interesting to see those first two matchups. I had never really had trouble when I was playing against Chaos Dwarves, but this late in the season, I haven't looked at his team yet, but if he's got a Claw Mighty Blow or two, that might cause an issue. Just because Saurus aren't really good about going up against Claw.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming at this point in the season, the Dwarves are going to have a substantial amount of guard too to, make up the strength advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely one that I want to see is that one. And also
Orcs
against the
can
Orcs.
also be hard for Lizards, yeah.
Yeah. So.
I think the Elf matchups tend to favor the Lizards, though.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. There's a Dark Elf team in there that might cause some issues. Maybe, I don't know. Probably not. But
Mammals of Unusual Size is a bit of a crapshoot as well. I think I want to give the advantage to the Lizardmen, but there's always the possibility that just they don't have any tackle. So there's always the possibility that they just won't be able to knock down Amazons.
Yeah, I know that Little Bits. I've been talking a lot with Little Bits this season, and I know he just came from the Rookie League last season, so this is his first season in the majors, and I'm pretty sure from Farrell's record that he is a fairly experienced coach, and I think just coaching experience might take that one. But Little Bits is definitely getting a lot better each week, so you never know at the end of the season that he might be up to the challenge.
Okay then. Now we'll move on for real. It's the Dwarfs of Duncan. And they have 3 guard. And a Claw Mighty Blow.
So this could get interesting.
And an Edgy 4 Hobgoblin.
Yeah. I would like to see more development on the Bull Centaurs, but I know it's hard when you're not making a ball-carrying Bull Centaur, and I personally don't like the ball-carrying Bull Centaur. I know a lot of people do. But
I'm in that category.
Yeah.
So, interestingly, that 10 out of 10 Bull Centaur has 3 casualties, 1 touchdown, and 1 pass.
Oh, I would still try and get touchdowns on them, but I wouldn't build them to be your ball carrier.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I point that out more to say, okay, this 10 out of 16, there's no MVPs there. Yeah, like, I think that is the only weakness on this team. These Bull Centaurs need to hit level 3.
Yeah.
That's the magic level for Bull Centaurs. That's when they become good. Like, they're okay before then, but they're good when they hit level 3.
Yeah.
Still, though, the rest of his team looks pretty good. He's at 11 out of 11 players. Looks like a Hobgoblin died recently. Probably going to replace that. I think he could use a Fowler, which he almost has. I
think that might have been the dead Hobgoblin too. I'm pretty sure I saw a Fowler on his team before. But
while I would normally say he should take Mighty Blow on his next level up on a Chaos Dwarf blocker, I think considering his matchups coming up, which I'm going to go over in a moment, Guard might be the better choice.
Yeah, I know he's already played Nerves, but he's got Economy Scale next, and I don't know if he's played Dead Presidents or not.
He has not. So let's just go over that now. Economy Scale is next, like you just said. That's going to be a really important game.
Yes.
Incidentally, he is Dauntless Unicorns. Dwarfs of Duncan are tied for 5th place. So they're not completely out of the playoff contention, but it's unlikely to happen. But they are important kingmakers, as I think. If only because of their next game against the economies of scale. Anyway, I digress. After that, it's Mammals of Unusual Size, then Dead Presidents, then All Orc No Play, then you in the last week.
Yeah, I'm scared of that one. And it's going to be tough for Amazons to deal with Chaos Dwarf blockers too, because Amazons just aren't really that fast. Even though 6 is better than 4, it's not that much better. So we'll see if they can stay away from tackle.
But they also, after the Lizards, still have 2 games against really bashy teams, one of whom is Orcs, and against both of whom having more guard would be really helpful, especially without developed Bull Centaurs, because you can't really. They're your strength 4 players, but you can't really leverage these Bull Centaurs. They don't have the skills they need.
Yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I think that they have a chance if the dice are in their favor. I mean, obviously every team has a chance if the dice are in their favor, but they have a chance against Economy of Scale. I still think Economy of Scale is probably going to win this game, but I wouldn't be completely surprised if Dwarfs of Duncan won it.
I'm really hoping for the upset because I think that'll make this whole division much more interesting for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I'm going to say on that matter. However, whatever the outcome of that, though, I do think that this team is going to be really. I think they're probably not going to get in playoffs, but I think they will place highly overall, and that they will be really scary for next season.
Yeah, and it's as hard as it is to get SPP on Bull Centaurs, it's really hard to get SPP on Chaos Dwarf blockers, and he's got a lot of it, so he's set up good for next season.
Yep, that he is. Okay, let's move on. Next up is... Oh, hey, this team looks familiar.
Yeah. So, this is my team. Let me hear it. I don't know what you want me to say. I can tell you why I took things, but...
Well, I mean, obviously, you should have 2 assassins. That's your
true.
Your key mistake.
I thought about starting with just 2 assassins and 9 linemen. And looking back on it, I think that might have been the key to winning this season for me. I'm just gonna wipe this team away and start through that next season.
Yeah, no, like your blitzers are really good, and you have 2 lion elves with guard. So this feels like a really solid basis for a dark elf team. If it's missing anything, it's that it needs more development on the witch elves.
Yeah, well, the one of them is brand new and hasn't played a game yet.
Well, that's why it needs more development.
Yeah, so yeah, Dwigs, get on it. But the one thing, I definitely am targeting getting Blodge on all my positionals next, and barring more doubles and stat ups. And I've been desperately trying to get my 2 guard linemen to 16 SPP so I can at least get them blocked so they can survive a little bit, and they tend to be based up for the next turn anyway, so at least to have them be able to hit back too pretty reliably would be nice. But yeah, dark elves like high elves, you typically want to take block before dodge. You can go the other way too, but just because they're a little bit slower than your pro elves or not your wood elves, blocks typically, or wrestle spam is another thing that I've been weighing if I want to do that, for the same reason with the Kislev. It just opens up holes when they're hitting you to just move through them.
I do also get the impression that you're maybe building for more longer term, in which case taking block or wrestle over dodge might make more sense. Because I do think dodge is probably the correct choice in very early TV. Like, if you're stopping at, like, well, you've already passed the point where I would say if you're stopping at. But if you're stopping at under 1500 TV and under, taking dodge first on your lineups is almost always going to be correct because there's just not enough tackle to punish you for it.
Yeah.
But after that, then other skills start becoming better.
Yeah. And the other thing is, with the teams in our division, there's a lot of dodge teams. I feel like I need more tackle, but at
Mm-hmm.
this point, it might be maybe get one more because I know I have the Amazons up. Not next, but soon. I think I've gotten most of the Dodge teams out of the way,
Mm-hmm.
but
But have you
um,
played the halflings yet?
I have. They kicked my butt in week 2. Oh, they
Oh
beat me
yeah,
down
they did have
hard.
some early wins, didn't they? That was
Yeah,
great. That made my
uh,
day.
that was Scambammer's a good guy. I like him, but
Mm-hmm.
that hurt me a little bit. Um, just my pride. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the only things I could say that I'd really want on my team is Plodge on both the blitzers who don't have it yet. I'm going to try and turn Pixie into a one-turner
Mm-hmm.
because it's not often you see a one-turning Dark Elf. So let's see if that happens.
I
He'll
mean,
probably die in the next game though, so it's okay.
okay. My advice for you is get a player with grab.
With Grab?
Actually, normally that would be my advice, but truth be told, you have enough guard. You probably don't need to just take sidestep instead.
Yeah. This
Because
thing like get sidestep on him. He's what 3 pushes away, and I can get sprint, epic
because
dodge, sidestep, sprint, and
grab
then
does
he's
actually help a lot with setting up one turns because it means you don't need to use your blitz to get your player into position. But if you don't need very many pushes, then and you have sidestep, then that lets you cut out a block. And cutting out blocks in a one turn is better than taking more optimal blocks.
yeah.
I have done a lot of thinking about this to try and get the one turning working with my dwarves.
I feel like it's easier for you to say that though, get Grab, because you have strength access, so that'd be a 30k
That's the thing,
increase for
right?
me.
If you
Yeah,
if you have strength access, then and you want to one turn, I think you should always take grab. But
yeah, that makes sense.
if you don't have strength access, all you really need is sidestep, especially if you have grab. Or I just no, that came out wrong. Especially if you have guard,
Yeah,
which you do in what is for elves spades.
yeah.
Uh,
Can't complain about that
anyway,
until they all die.
any, yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Hey, it's the Amazons. Moes. Mammals of unusual size. Yep, these are Amazons, all right. This is actually probably this is almost exactly how I would build Amazons.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that he had so many deaths and MNGs throughout the
Mm-hmm.
season that he doesn't have as much development as he would probably want. But he's definitely got his SPP where he wants it, mostly on the blitzers. So
Mm-hmm. I
and he's
mean,
got one blotch catcher, which is nice.
Little Bits did take a lot of deaths, but they're mostly on line women's, which have certainly been replaced. I'm not sure that I would have replaced them, to be honest. Like, a rookie line woman is still fine.
Well, the other thing is
She
he
has
already
dodge.
had.
That's all she needs.
Yeah. Well, it's Amazons though. You get everything from the start. He had
Mm-hmm.
3 team rerolls and an apothecary and
But
all of his
but
positionals to start
doesn't
with. So
have a stadium enhancement.
I don't know if I would get a stadium at this point. He needs a bench.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Actually, Amazons want a bench. I don't think the 11th Amazon is necessarily valuable, but the 12th one certainly is.
Yes.
And yeah, like honestly, the only thing I think that has gone wrong with this team's development is that this thrower should have more SPP. It is so easy to do vanity passes on Amazons. You should be doing it every single game with your thrower.
Yeah, it's confusing to me that he only has one vanity or one pass on it through 8 games.
Mm-hmm.
I know that not all of his blitzers have played every game though, so that might have played into it where he just didn't have the right moments to do it.
Well, I'm
But,
pretty sure he has not been picking up with his thrower is probably what it is, which you
Gotcha.
should do because throw. then you give it, sure hands when it levels up.
It has 196 yards running, so that's a pretty large amount. So
Oh
I'm
wow, that
assuming
is
he's
a
picking it
large.
up.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know. Okay,
I think he might be handing off more than passing.
must be. I still think that you should be passing with this player. Like, if nothing else, you can get leader, and you have the player anyway. You may as well get the cheap leader, even if you don't need it much. And Amazons don't really need it much.
Yeah.
I think I'd still probably go sure hands first. Anyway, I like how this team looks. Its team value is really low, which is actually like really good. Like,
Yeah.
Amazons aren't really great after they age too much, because they just their stat
Run into a
line
bunch of
their
tackle.
stat line is really bad at high TV. But I think this team is probably going to have a second season. Like, its development is good and its TV is low, so it can just do a second season, get a ton of inducements, and like a two season teams are everyone's going to have tackle, but not necessarily a lot of tackle.
Yeah, I could see this being successful in a second season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I would take this team to Devastational, but it's definitely
I would probably not.
yeah. But it's a good start.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's go to the Orcs. All Orc and no play. Well, they're block on the Black Orcs. Agi 4 Blitzer. 2 tackle Blitzers. That's not a lot of development, but honestly, I think it's all it needs in this division.
Yeah, it's a good start. I can't really think of much that I would do differently. I would maybe the second tackle is the only thing that's making me go like, but looking at the people that are in this division with the amount of dodge that's in this division, that's definitely acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to start seeing some guard put on them because they're going to get to the point pretty soon where they're going to start getting outstrengthed.
Mm-hmm.
Just because other teams are starting to stack guard,
Mm-hmm.
and they haven't even gotten one yet. But that's the only thing that I could see that I would change about this.
Yeah, I agree. I think probably the Blitzer who hasn't leveled up yet, probably you take guard on that one. I think some of the Black Orcs are starting to get close to their second level. You take guard on them, and then
Yes.
suddenly you're fine again.
Yep.
Orcs are actually really good. I mean, actually, like, Orcs are probably one of the most TV efficient teams in the game. And they're TV efficient at high TV as well. Whereas most of the TV efficient teams sort of have a sharp drop off once they get too high. With Black Orcs, that sort of I said Black Orcs. With Orcs, that sort of happens, but it's at a much higher TV. It's basically at the point where they just can't deal with kill chaos anymore, that they drop off, and kill chaos drops off there too because they can't deal with themselves.
Yeah. So, but I like Orcs, and this is it's a good start for an Orc team.
It definitely is. And actually, this team is probably in third place. And I say probably because they have not played their game from this week. But if they win, then they will be in third place. And they are playing against the Halflings, so yeah.
Yeah, and because he's got 2 tackles, he might take out more Halflings than I did.
So actually, since I have it written down, I'll just go over who they're playing against. Halflings this week, as I said. Then Wood United. I think that'll be a tough game for them because they don't really have the tools for dealing with the Wood Elves. Then Economy of Scale. I think that'll be a good game. Then the Fat Earthers. Then Dwarfs of Duncan. Then Crawdad Zydeco Experience.
I think he might be able to deal with the Wood Elf, especially if he can get sure hands on his Agi 4 Blitzer. then you've taken away their biggest
Mm-hmm.
ability to take the ball away from you. But if he doesn't, if he
Mm-hmm.
can't get a level on that for that game, I don't think it'll definitely be a lot tougher for him.
That I guess he does have some tackle, and I mean, there's always a possibility he'll just farm a ton of SPP off of the halflings in the next 24 hours.
Yeah. So
Uh, I really hope that game gets played. Okay, moving on. We have just a couple teams left. Three more. Next up is Dauntless Unicorns. They are pro elves. They have missed some games, but they're still in the division. It was just scheduling problems as far as I'm aware. But this team is like in rough shape, I think. Like, it's not that they've taken damage, it's just like, well.
they're just kind of far behind on development. I mean, he's got a strong arm thrower, which strong arm's not the greatest first skill to take on a thrower, but it helps out later, especially since you don't have access to it normally.
Yeah, like you take
So
strong arm when you get the chance.
Yeah, so I understand why he went ahead and took it. But it will be a strong piece as long as it lives. The Agi5 catcher is really nice, but it needs to get dodge and block as quickly as possible so it can stay alive. Or dodge and wrestle. And other than that, he's just got one other level on a blitzer. So he doesn't have an apothecary yet, so I would.
Wow.
He's over 150, so go ahead and grab that apothecary.
Yeah, definitely. Or wait, this might actually. I'm looking at this. I feel like this might be a team that is saving up for the bank.
To buy players for the.
I don't know that there are a lot of pro players on the market, but this
I'm not sure
feels...
if there are any because pro elves were like from Legendary Edition, right?
Okay, there could be from last season. There's probably some, but probably not a lot. I'm not really sure though. But I feel like if there are any on the market, this team could be building up to try and buy some.
Makes sense.
To be determined. Other than that, yeah, this feels similar to the Amazon team to me, actually. Or Negative Pro, actually. It has a fair amount of SPP, but it's too spread out, and as a result, it doesn't really have the level ups that it should.
Yeah, well, as elves, you kind of want to spread it out, but
I don't think you want to spread it out this much, though.
Yeah, you want to like once one starts to get a level, finish that level, then move on to the next one, and then go in that order. But he did. I think the last two games were buys, or not buys, but admin wins, or for the other team. So I don't know.
Okay, of the last two games, Red Rage versus Dauntless Unicorns, that was a buy because it was a scheduling problem. Dead Presidents versus Dauntless Unicorns was played. It's a 2-1, but that one was also an admin game, so there is a disconnect at some point during the game.
Gotcha.
And then they decided to not replay it for whatever reason.
All right.
He's still in the league, so it was something that was legitimate, whatever it was.
But yeah, so hopefully, I mean, he's close. He's got 3 guys that need a vanity pass to the level. So I would focus on that as soon as possible.
Yeah, I mean, your elves just throw the damn ball.
Yeah. I like throw them to the thrower on the first turn, and then
or to a catcher if you want to be really sure that you catch it for that sweet SVP.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up is Red Rage, which this team has a lot of diving tackle.
Yeah, I don't hate that to start with. I mean, they're not very fast, so putting them in places to kind of annoy other people going through them, it's not bad. I normally start with sidestep first on stunties, but I don't hate diving tackle either.
I do,
especially if there's a loose ball. You can throw like a guy on the ball.
I do sidestep first as well, but I sort of love this
Yeah.
I'm not sure that it's effective, but I love seeing it. Do more of this. Actually, there is one thing on this team that I do not like, and that is that it has an Apo. There is no. This team should not have an Apo. There are no players on this team at all who deserve an Apo.
I will say in his defense for the Apo, that might have been what won him the game against me. Because he had taken out a lot of my players, and in the second half, I started catching up in numbers. He Apo'd one of the badly hurts to keep the guy on the field so he could keep the numbers, and started his offensive drive, and it kind of made a little bit of a difference just because I wasn't able to start taking all of his guys away.
Okay, so like, here's the thing though. I mean, okay, first of all, I assume that that Scambammer is keeping track of his team value and planning for that ahead of time. But right now he has 70k in team value tied up in things on his team he doesn't really need. That being the Apo and a cheerleader and a coach assistant.
No, I definitely agree with the cheerleader and the coaching assistant.
Okay, no, I think, to be clear, I think those are okay, but you get rid of them as soon as you run into a game where you need the extra 20 team value skimmed off.
Fair.
I feel like the Apo is the same case here. Oh, well, I need 50k. Get rid of the Apo now. The only problem with that is the Apo is a lot more expensive to buy and replace.
But trees die too, so...
I mean, they do, but I mean, I don't really care if a rookie tree dies as long as I have money to replace it. And if he didn't have an Apo, he would have money to replace it.
Fair. I see your point.
Anyway, I do like minor criticism aside, I do like this team. And it is actually doing pretty well on the Stunty Cup as well. I currently have it down as 4th overall.
Yeah. They were 3rd at one point last I saw, so I guess they just slid back down into 4th.
Yeah, the Scholars of Ogre Hampshire got a win last week, and that, I think it was last week, and that put them ahead.
Well, he does have Yob, so...
Yeah, I mean, you can't compete with Yob. It would take a miracle. You would have to be like some sort of Ravenbow.
I do like that he has Nuffle's Altar. Mm-hmm. So that reduces the cost of getting his Deep Root.
Okay, so I haven't really mentioned this, but if you are playing Stunty and you do not have Nuffle's Altar, you are doing it wrong. Maybe ogres don't take it, but just because you have more important things to spend your money on. But if your goblins are halflings and you don't take Nuffle's Altar, you have made a big mistake.
Yeah, I'm just surprised he had enough money to get a level up and a thing in 8 games.
I guarantee you that he took it on start. Like he started with a team value 8,000 or 800 or less, and he bought both of them before he played a single game.
Oh. Well, that's also smart. Good for you.
Keep in mind, like, usually with a rookie halfling team, it starts at something like... The normal build for that is like 6-something TV, like let's say 650, somewhere around there. So starting at 800, totally doable.
Right on.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the final team. Dead Presidents.
So this team came in week 2, so they missed 1 game. But
wow, there are a lot of players on this team.
Yeah, and I don't think any of them are Pokemon. I actually kind of like having 1 skeleton on an undead team. Have him as a kicker.
I also like 1 skeleton. I think 2 is pushing it.
Yeah. Zombies are... Because your zombies / skeletons are there to get hit. You base people with them, use them as assists, and when they're not needed, tie up things that you don't want to hit your more valuable players. So obviously zombies are going to be better at that job than skeletons, but that extra movement does help when you're trying to get that assist or you need that desperation play. So 1 is good. I don't know if I would do 2.
I actually think skeletons are better when you have either only 1 or all of them.
Yeah. But at that point...
Like, Khemri linemen work because all of them are skeletons.
Yeah.
If you had 50-50, it just wouldn't be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a few different reasons for that I'm not really going to go into. But I genuinely think that's how it pans out. Yeah. Skeletons aside, there's a kicker zombie. There are 3 ghouls, so more ghoul efficient, and it shows because the TV on this team is way lower. Both mummies have guard, and I really like one of these whites.
I'm assuming the guard Mighty Blow?
Yeah, it's the guard Mighty Blow. It's not that I dislike Hitlurk.
Adult Hitlurk, the damned.
It's not that I dislike this player, but it's really... I don't think this is what the team needs.
Yeah.
Like, on a different team, I would love this player. But on this team, I think this is not the skills this player should have.
Yeah, my thought process with Undead is you want your whites to be your killers. So not start waiting till level 3 to get Mighty Blow on him is kind of rough. The ghouls are going to be typically your scorers, but they're going to die fairly. Like you can't really, you can't protect them. There's no appo for them, so they will eventually die. Yep. So you're going to ball carry with your ghouls, then try and hand off to your whites if you can, score with them, but you need your whites going around killing stuff because they're your fastest guys that can actually hit things. So I'm not a huge fan of the Blodge Movement 7 white, but I can see why. I mean, you would want to because it's fun.
Yeah, like I just said, I would love this player on a different team. I just don't think it's the right choice for this team. And you know what? It's still fun, and at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. If Lazarus wanted to do this, and if he can make it work, then great.
Exactly.
It's definitely not, well, it's just definitely suboptimal.
It's not what I would have chosen. But does not mean I'm right. Anyway, they are 4-1-2 though, so that's not bad for coming in a game late. And I think they still have their game to play this week, do they? No, they played Crawdad's Zydeco Experience, so they've already played this week.
And I think this team is going to have a second season. It might not have a second. It's sort of a curse in REBBL that Undead make it 2 seasons in and then just sort of drop off a cliff.
Yeah. Undead kind of are like orcs in that sense where they can't handle with the claw, but they kind of start having issues with it a lot sooner than the orcs do.
I would have said dwarves.
That's for anything that's block spam, really. Norse, Chaos Dwarves.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Norse actually care about claw. It is the high TV orc teams that kill the Norse.
Yeah. Well, I was talking about undead though. Like a Norse team would do well against undead because their 2 big hitters don't have block. So.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. And the Yeti has claw, which just sort of shreds them as well. Yeah, I can definitely see that. I do think that Undead can probably get further than it traditionally has in REBBL, but I can definitely see how it drops off the way it does. But importantly for this team, I do think it has a future in the next season.
Yeah. They're very trim TV wise.
Mm-hmm.
If that white dies, the blodge white, maybe try to think of leveling it something differently. Granted, you took a double and a stat up, so it's like you're not guaranteed to get that every time
Mm-hmm.
anyway. So, but just because you get them doesn't mean you should take them. But it doesn't mean it's wrong as long as you're enjoying what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So hats off to you, Lazarus.
Yep. Indeed. I don't really have any advice for leveling up this team either, except for the one white. Like all the level ups look really solid. So
yeah, they're kind of undead can get kind of paint by numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So, and get block for your zombies, maybe a couple dirty players. You got a bench of 14, so get 2 dirty players would be nice. I would maybe do 1 dirty player before you start block spamming, and then getting another dirty player.
Mm-hmm. With this TV, like this team can honestly probably induce some decent star players as well, which might be worth looking into.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I think we've just about wrapped that up. So let's finish this off with a quick look at the leaderboard and making some playoff predictions. You had a arguably uncontentious pick for your playoff winner, didn't you?
Yeah, I picked Economy of Scale. I mean, they haven't been beaten yet, and they've beaten the only other team that's close to them. So,
yeah, it could happen. My first season of REBBL was the first place team was Lizards, and then the second place team was Undead, and then I think I was in 4th that season. Maybe 3rd. I don't know. It was close. So I have definitely seen this exact thing play out before, where the 2nd and 3rd place teams were doing really well, but it didn't matter because the Lizard was literally actually undefeated.
mm-hmm.
So I've seen it before, and we might see it again here. But.
This is only my 2nd season of REBBL, and I have only seen undefeated teams make it to the playoffs in my lettered divisions. But I think that's just because I had to deal with the Doc M and Orabi in my divisions last year.
Okay, so quick story time. My first season of REBBL, I was playing the team I'm playing now, the 3 Mountains, and my final score, I think, was something around 30 points. It was high.
Yeah.
It was high enough that I would have been in first place in most other divisions. But I was in 3rd or 4th. Because the 2nd place team was the Undead team, which had only, I think, a single loss. And the only person they had lost to was the 1st place team, the Lizardmen, coached by Wave, who literally had 0 losses and was tied for the best record in all of REBBL that season.
Sometimes it's just who gets drawn into your division.
Yeah. So yeah, that was story time. Having now gone there, Gengar and I were both in agreement. We actually think Nerves will take it. And I don't know Gengar's rationale. I just have the name of the team that he thought would do it. But here's why I think Nerve will take it. Nerves has a much easier set of games. It's the same thing with the last division, really. They have a bye week. They have Halflings. They have Mystery Science Goat 3000. Basically, all of the teams they're playing against are teams from near the bottom of the ladder, except for one, which is the Dead Presidents. And I think they probably have a better matchup against the... I think the matchup favors them against the Dead Presidents.
Yeah.
It's a mirror match, and they're the more developed team, so... Yeah.
Yeah.
Having said that, that will only happen if Economy of Scale actually drops some games.
And the first tiebreaker is touchdowns, correct?
Yes.
So, from what I recall, the economy of scale has a huge lead on touchdowns. Let me see if I can find that and take a look.
Let's see. Economy of Scale has a touchdown. This doesn't show touchdowns against, does it?
So on the league manager,
right there, it is. Wow, that is a 10 TDD. A touchdown delta of 10. That is really wow. Yeah, that's a good score. Let's look at nerves. I went back too far.
So the list that I'm looking at, the touchdown differential is 11 for economy of scale.
I'm looking inside of the Blood Bowl 2
Gotcha.
client, which I'm more inclined to trust. But honestly, a difference of 1 probably doesn't make a difference. Well, Okay, so Nerves has a touchdown delta of 9, so they are behind Economy of Scale, but not by much.
Yeah. But Nerves has the CAS differential by a lot.
Yeah.
And I believe that's the second tiebreaker.
Maybe I don't. It is a tiebreaker for sure, but I don't remember if it. I do not remember if it is second or third.
Yeah, the only other one is head to head.
Okay, head to head is last, so it.
Okay.
Casualty must be second. Okay,
Gotcha.
We worked that one out. But yeah, if Economy of Scale does take a loss, I think Nerves will probably narrowly take the first place spot. But it is all contingent upon them actually losing a game.
Yeah, Economy of Scale has to lose, and then they have to lose by 2. I think.
Well, or Nerves needs to win by 2.
That's true. So it'll be close. It'll be interesting to see. I'm definitely going to try my best to play spoiler against Economy of Scale, and I hope other teams are going to try their best to play spoiler against Nerves.
You can do it.
Let's make this interesting, boys.
Take them both down and go for a surprise Orc playoff spot. But no, I think it's probably going to be one of these two teams.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be one of these two, but, all Orc no play definitely has a shot. It's just not a great one. Same with Crawdad Zydeco experience.
Okay. And I think that just about wraps it up. Do you have any closing words?
Everybody have fun.
Go Stunty! Foul everyone! Team Foul out!
Good night.